Hello and welcome to Mountain Valley Today. Thank you so much for choosing to spend your afternoon with us. And today we have Dr. Jason Barnett. He's a Republican candidate for DeKalb County Board of Education Superintendent. So can I call you Jason?
Certainly.
You know, he could be my boss. I could say Doc or Mr. Barnett, Dr. Barnett.
Jason will be fine.
Well, I know that you're in campaign mode.
Sure.
And I know that you're really excited about all the different people you've gotten to meet. So we're going to spend today talking with Dr. Barnett and letting him tell you about his campaign, his platform, his ideas, and maybe some of the campaign trail experiences that you've experienced. So let's just jump right in and tell us how it's going. How's the campaign?
Well, things are going very well. We're staying busy. We've got a lot of things going on. Every day we're trying to meet some folks and talk to different people. We've set up several different events. Since last time I talked with you guys here on Mountain Valley Today, that was right after the primary, and we talked a little bit about how that went, and we thanked everybody for it. And I still want to thank everybody for their support in the primary. It's been, it takes a lot of people working together to make this thing go, and we had a tremendous amount of support and encouragement, and that's been uplifting to us and kind of pushed us through this time. Several months were kind of a lull, and now we've picked back up. We had our kickoff rally in early August, and so that was 13 weeks before the actual election, which is coming up soon now. We had our kickoff rally. We had, I'm not certain the exact number of folks that showed up, but I heard a couple people had counted, and they said there was close to 400 folks that showed up. So that was outpouring of support there was amazing. We had great entertainers and some folks that showed up that just really enjoyed it and spoke well of us and for us, and it's just really exciting for us to have that kind of a turnout and people show up in support. We've also had a couple meet and greets. We had some out. We visited in the communities of Crossville. We've got a meet and greet coming up on the 6th of October in Geraldine at the park, at the pavilion they have there at the park. It's at 6 o'clock. We'd love anybody who's listening who lives out in that area or anywhere in the county, we'd love for you to come out and visit with us. On the 10th of October at 6 o'clock at the Adamsburg Volunteer Fire Department, we're going to have a meet and greet out there. And so, once again, we'd love to have anybody come out there. And then on the north end of the county at Ider on the 11th, we have a meet and greet out that way at 6 o'clock at the Senior Center. So we put some meet and greets in some different communities across our county here on the south, central area, and the north, so that we can make sure that everybody has an opportunity to get out and meet us and ask any questions or express any concerns or praises that they have for our school system, and just kind of get to talk and meet everybody. We wanted to make sure that we were accessible to you in person and, of course, through whether it be television, radio, or internet. We've got a website, and we're going to do some other things with our website and Facebook coming up soon. But we just wanted to, we really enjoyed it. I have met so many people that I would have never had the opportunity to meet, and I've made friends that I would otherwise never have met as well or been friends with through this campaign trail. It's been really exciting to hear the good things that are going on, as well as hear the concerns and get a vision and get some ideas for things that we can really advance the DeKalb County schools. And so I've been very excited. I've enjoyed these last few months. We got, November the 8th is the election, so
we'll be here before you know
about 5 weeks away from that, from the airing of this show. It'll be about 5 weeks away, so it'll be here before you know it. Absolutely.
I think most people will be glad that the presidential election will be over.
Yeah, well, that's been a big topic. Absolutely, the presidential election is, of course, it's a major election. The next 4 years of our country depends upon how we elect, and the direction of this country will be decided in the 4 years. Of course, on November 8th, the direction of the DeKalb County school system will be decided. The fate will be decided for that night as well. And so, I asked for that support because it's a major important year, because for these 4 years that we have that this election will determine will have an impact not only for those 4 years, but the policies and the hiring practices and all those things will have an impact for 25, 30 years down the road, or maybe even longer, because the average teacher careers 30 years. So people you hire in place, they're going to be working for that long. So it's a very important election.
It really is. It really is. And so we're going to talk to Dr. Barnett. Well, I'm going to just say Jason. about some of the things he's experienced on the campaign trail. Now, this week that we're filming this is during the week of the BFW fair down in Fort Payne, and we were talking about that. I think you've been about every night so far.
We've been every night. This campaign, we kicked off the campaign in July the 13th of 2015. So we're about 15 months into it now. Well, of course, on July 13th, it was very hot. We went through the winter last year all the way up to the March 13th, 2016 primary, and we campaigned door to door in snow. We campaigned door to door in rain. We campaigned door to door in 100-degree temperatures. So we've seen a little bit of it all during this campaign, but it means something to us. So we're not going to let the weather impede us in getting out there. But the VFW fair this week, we worked the fair last year. We've worked it this year. This year is a little bit different. We don't have a booth for the party, so I'm just out walking the midway. Walking around, talking to people, being accessible to folks, anybody who has any questions. And many people they've said, hey, I just want to come up and ask you your thoughts on this or share a story with you. And that's been really good because people recognize you and they come up and they want to share something with you. And it means something to them. And if it means something to them, then it means something to me. If they're taking the time out of their day or out of their family time at the fair to come share a story or something with me or a concern, then it's important to me to listen and hear it and take it into advice. So we can, maybe, study over it and determine what may be the best course of action for moving forward.
Well, and you can't make everybody happy with their problem. You can only evaluate it and help make it as good as possible.
Right. Well, and that's it. And that's why communicating is so important, because you can receive that communication and you can, look into it and study it, evaluate it, and make a best decision. Then you can. Most people, they may not always get exactly what they want, but if you'll communicate back to them, hey, I understand your concern, this is where we are, this is why we're doing this, and whatever, they'll usually come to a realization and appreciate the fact that you took the time to seriously consider their concern and communicate back with them and let them know what you've decided or something like that. But the fair's been great. So many people have come up and met with us, and it's just created more communication, people contacting us on our Facebook page or via email. I've got my cell phone number on everything, 256-717-3558. People message me or call me all the time, and so that's been that's been.
Your phone ever blow up with text messages?
My phone stays. It rings constantly. It rings constantly, which is a good thing because that means people want to talk, want to share, are interested in what we've got to say.
Right. Well, tell us how the family is handling this. I don't want to say long and drawn out, but you have been doing it 15 months. Yeah. So you got a few more weeks to go. So how are the kids handling the progression? What have they said, good and bad?
Yeah. Well, first of all, my wife, I have to thank her, Leah. She has been just the biggest asset to this campaign period. Oftentimes she gets the short end of the stick when I'm out meeting folks or at the fair, or meeting folks, going to a meet and greet, talking to different people that I've truly enjoyed, and I do enjoy that. Having a good time. Many times I'm looking forward to it, but she's, cooking supper again and taking care of the kids and finishing up some homework. So without her, I couldn't do it. But we signed up for this together. When you're a husband and a wife, you've got to both commit to doing this together. Yeah. This is something I initially wanted to pursue and have chosen to pursue, but without her being on board, we couldn't do it. So I definitely, major thanks and credit goes to her for her support through this.
And you be sure and tell Leah that he said nice things about her, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Please do.
A few brownie points.
Absolutely. The kids have loved it. We've made a lot of it into games when we ride down the road. We'll look for Jason Barnett signs, and the kids will see who who can see the most or spot them first. The billboards that we've got 4 billboards up right now, and that's made my daughter Layton almost kind of a semi-star. Some of her friends have asked her mom, "Is Layton famous? She's on all these billboards," and so that's given her a little bit of street cred, I guess, so to speak. But they've loved it. They have. They went to us to festivals. They've been to meet and greets with us. We drag them along. It is a family, fair campaign. It is a family thing, and so they've come out and supported us and helped us, and they're some of my biggest fans and biggest advocates. So I couldn't do it without them. But they really enjoyed it as well.
And you can't say enough about your mom and your brother, because I know they're right there, and your mother beams with pride every time you're at an event.
Yep. I've got a great mom. I've told many folks on this trail, I said, any faults I've got, they're of my own accord because I was raised right. I've got a great mom. My dad, he was fantastic, and so I really was raised right. My mom, she teaches at Fife as well, and we grew up in the Powell community outside of Rainsville. And I've got a great mom who is excited. My brother Kenny, he's helped me. He's not the public figure type person. He doesn't want to be out in the limelight, but he's helped me in so many ways, constructing stuff, building stuff. Just working with me, and so I've had great support throughout my family, and that extends even to cousins and aunts and uncles and all those folks.
Well, and I can verify that Jason's in church every Sunday morning, most Sunday nights. He was just ordained as a deacon at our church, Broadway Baptist. But I will tell you, he sits toward the back. I don't know if that's a backslid Baptist. I'm not really sure.
I've got a 3-year-old, as I mentioned. Sometimes you got to evacuate quickly.
That is true. That is true. And there's a few exits back there. You can get out quickly if you need to.
Yeah.
But you also said on the campaign trail you've been on several roads you didn't know really existed in DeKalb County. Is that true?
Absolutely. We've got on roads that weren't really suitable for transportation.
And that's a good thing as being over the buses.
Absolutely. You realize,
There you go.
and that is true. We were actually going to a community out around the Kilpatrick area and taking some signs out to put some yards that people had requested and talked to folks. And, the way the elevation of the road was, and the way the trees crossed it with the shading and stuff, me and my passenger that was riding with me, one thing we discussed was, a road like this would be very dangerous during an ice situation because of just where it was and the shading and everything like that. It's going to be one of the last areas to thaw out the ice. And so you're right. That gives you a perspective for things that when you make those decisions, because you make decisions that impact every bit of the county, the elevated, higher elevations, as well as the valley.
And that's one thing that you will have to make if you're elected in November is when it's bad weather, you've got from Ider to south end of the county, from over around section over to almost, I guess, the Georgia line.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
So that's a lot of different terrain and a lot of different area to cover. Have you ever counted up how many doors or how many miles you've been in all these 15 months?
I've not counted the number of doors or how many miles, but I've worn out shoes. I can assure you that. I have worn out shoes that I bought when I started, and I've had to purchase new shoes because I wore the soles out of them.
Well, there you go.
And I put new tires
on.
Yeah, I put new tires on my car too. So we've definitely we've been moving around. We have been doing that for sure.
So it's not because he hasn't been working hard, because you're always everywhere I go. There you are.
Yeah,
Kind of like bad money. You always show up.
like a bad penny. It always keeps turning up.
I'm just playing. If he becomes my boss, I'm just playing. Well, tell us some of the good things that you see in our system. I know that you've been out and about. You've talked to people, and I get just a taste of that with my job as a career coach. I'm out and about at different schools, and they're all so different. You would think everybody is the same, but when I had taught at a particular school for 20 plus years, you get used to that environment and that culture and that. But it's like 8 different little cities or more, really. They all operate just a little different, all have their own personality. So tell us some of the good things you're seeing that's going on in our system.
Well, as I've visited teachers and visited schools and received phone calls from faculty, staff, employees, I hear a lot of passion. I hear a lot of passion. People are, all of our employees are passionate about what they do. They may have concerns over some areas, but their concerns are because they want good things for our schools. They want good things for our students. And, I think that's a great starting point, because the successes and failures of a school district are not going to necessarily be how, great I am. It'll be how great the teachers are allowed to do, how I empower them. My job is to empower them, support them, provide them with the resources and materials, and encourage them in professional development, and everything I can do to allow them to be the best they can be. And so when we've got teachers that are passionate about their practice and passionate about supporting their students, that's the ground. That's the ground. We got to have that. Then we can support them and improve our practice and improve the education in our schools by providing them with more resources. So I think that right there is the key. That's going to be the foundation for all of our successes, is the people that we have in our county schools that work for us every day, that are on the ground floor with our students every day. And so that right there is one of the most exciting, is because they're passionate, because they're excited, and they're enjoying what they're doing. That's going to allow us to be build the footing for even more success and more growth down the road.
You know, you always hear about bad apples in the basket, and sometimes they are the ones who will cloud the judgment of the entire basket. But by and large, what I've seen and what I've experienced in 33 years, most of the teachers and educational support professionals in DeKalb County want the best for their students, and they go above and beyond to provide things that they may need or give them opportunities. So I give kudos to our employees because they're really a good bunch.
Yeah, and you know, and like you mentioned, oftentimes, you know, you may have a couple issues that may, like you said, cloud the whole basket or your perspective of the whole basket. And oftentimes, people that have been teaching for some time or whatever, they may get frustrated over a situation or frustrated over an ordeal, and that may, you know, they need to be encouraged. You know, teachers need to be encouraged, and they need to be, as superintendent, one thing I want to do is I want to be visible and active in every school. I've made the suggestion, if I'm elected, you know, within the first, you know, 6 weeks, and that may be a little bit more advantageous than I do, but I want to be in every classroom in our district and make sure I go around, not to first time, not to sit in there and observe their teaching or whatever, but just to introduce myself and let them know that I'm there to support them, to encourage them, and to help provide them any resources I can, if I can be of assistance, that I want them to be, you know, to contact me or make sure that I'm aware of how I can help them and serve them. And so I think that goes a long ways because, you know, when we encourage and we empower and we, you know, support our employees in that way, that does encourage them. And if you're encouraged by what you're doing or you're encouraged in what you're doing, then most of the time you're going to do a better job. I've spoken often about a boss of mine, Mr. Donnie Jones, who empowered me whenever I had a curriculum. We were doing a curriculum, and there was a part of it that I didn't think was necessarily the best, and I talked to him. He asked me my thoughts on it. I shared with him my thoughts, and I shared with him how I felt like we could do better. And he said, "Sounds like you put a lot of thought in it. Sounds like you've got a well planned out attack. Just do it." And I did it, and because of that, I thought, "There's no way I'm gonna fail at this. I'm gonna do whatever it takes to be successful because he has entrusted me, trusted my professional judgment, trusted my abilities, and knew that I was passionate about what I was doing." And that right there, year or that particular part of the year, I think I probably did a better job teaching that time than I ever have in my life. And it's because I had somebody who trusted me, they respected me, they observed me. I mean, they kept an eye on me. He didn't just let me have free reign, but I felt encouraged and I felt supported, and that I knew I had somebody that had my back. And so I think that right there goes a long ways, and we need to be out there. We need to be visible in our schools. We need to be supporting our teachers, empowering them when we can, providing all the resources and materials. And when they're successful, we need to encourage them. And when they aren't as successful as we'd like them to be, we need to provide professional development, provide resources, provide, you know, whatever it may need to be so that they can be successful. We need to always be encouraging people to be as successful as they possibly can.
And another thing along the same lines is talk about the students you've seen, because what I have seen from career tech kids to college bound to athletics to arts, I'm telling you, we have a wonderful group of students in our system.
But our students don't get the credit they deserve. Oftentimes don't get the limelight, I guess, really, that they deserve. We've got students across our county that are great in aspects, have gifts and have talents that you would never even imagine. It blows my mind to see some of the students we have with some of the skills they have, whether it be from, of course, athletics. That gets a lot of limelight, but with the band and the musical abilities they have, the artistic abilities, the gymnastics, the you know, creative, inventive. I mean, we've got students that have invented programs, invented materials, hard-working students. We've got some students across this county in every school that are doing some pretty amazing stuff, and we really don't give them the credit or accolades they deserve oftentimes.
Well, and also, I think sometimes we have some great community support partners that jump in and help in our schools. Every school I've ever been in, you've got those people in your community you can call on, and they're always there with whatever that you need to make the program work.
Absolutely.
So tell us about some of the partnerships you've seen in the different communities helping the various schools.
Well, you know, speaking at Collinsville, we're been spending so much time there as an administrator and as a teacher and now as an administrator. The community there is so tight-knit. We've got such a tight-knit community. James Coker in the Collinsville Nursing Home, if there's anything the school's ever needed, I can give him a call, and you can just about guarantee one way or the other that need's going to be met and provided. Yeah. The community, when we need to raise money, the community just chips right in. We had a program a few years back called the 100 Club, and we decided we wanted 100 people to donate $100, and that would raise $10,000 for some technology needs we had. Well, in about 2 weeks, or less than that, really, we had way more than 100 people choose to do that, elect to do that, and that raised much more than we were able to get more technology than what we had initially set out for. And that's really exciting. In Crossville, DNF Equipment or DNF Poultry, Liberty's Legacy, they put on a program for all the 5th grade students in every school in the county, where it's a patriotism, citizenship type program, and they bring out curriculum, and they have a celebration, all kinds of stuff, and awards for students who participate in it. And RTI here in Rainsville, they're a great community partner. Liberty still, and of course at the Trade Vocational Center, we've got several partnerships with Toyota, Volkswagen, and different businesses and industries. And so we've got community partners, whether it be an individual or a family-owned operation in business, or a big industry that's willing and wants to partner and wants to support our students, because they want our students to be trained for employees for them eventually, and it's just really important. So we've got community support that wants to help, and business and industry that wants to help. We've just got to be out and voice that needs to them. Let them know what our needs are. Let them know how they can help us. Let them know how we're going to use it and how it's going to support them and everything. And most of the time, they're willing to get on board and help us.
I think so, and they're looking for people to come in and work for them, and they want the young people in DeKalb County to be their workforce that they can call on. Yeah. So it's a partnership working together. We've talked about the good things. I know there's a few challenges that you've seen out there, and that's just a nice way to say we got a few problems we need to work on. Otherwise, you wouldn't be running for superintendent if you didn't have a vision and some things you'd like to change. So maybe tell us a little bit about a few ideas that you've got that you'd like to see us improve on or expand upon, or maybe just start something new.
Yeah. Well, there's really, my whole platform that I ran under is under 5 points under the kind of Expect More platform, and there's really 5 points I've talked about throughout this entire campaign. When we finished up the primary and we won it, people asked us, well, how are you going to do things differently? What are you going to change now with your campaign? And the answer was really nothing, because we come up with these 5 points not out of a gimmick or something to get elected. It was really 4 core values and core points that we feel are fundamental things that really will establish the environment for us to be successful here in DeKalb County. And the first one is communication. I think, as we've already talked about, communicating as a superintendent, making sure we're communicating with the individual, communicating on a broad level, making sure everybody understands where we are, where we want to be. That's really important. One area that I want to do is last year we had a board meeting on the campus of Collinsville High School, and we set it up where we had like an open house, and parents came and visited. Superintendent, board members could walk around, see the classroom, see what was going on. Then we transitioned into our auditorium, where we had a time where the principal, it was me, I spoke to the audience and to the board members, telling them about some of the good things that had been going on at Collinsville School last year. Then we transitioned into a board meeting, and that allowed dialogue. It allowed community members that otherwise would never come to a board meeting to be able to be in a board meeting and meet their superintendent, meet their board representatives, because they elect one board representative on the Board of Education out of those 5 members, but all 5 of them have a voice in the things that impact each school. So that's one thing. Being a voice, like I mentioned earlier, it's important to be a voice for our schools. We've got 9 legislative delegates that serve a part of DeKalb County. It's important to be a voice to those guys. It's important to be a voice to our business and to our industry, and make sure that people know that our needs, and by voice, I really guess you could almost say advocate, or advocate for our students. Third point is innovation of technology and resources, which is a really big point. DeKalb County is really behind in a lot of our technology that we have integrated in our classrooms. And I'm not saying, a one-to-one initiative is something we can do right off the bat, but it's time that we put technology in the classrooms on a daily basis so students can go from simply consuming information to producing information. At Collinsville, one thing we've been able to do, especially in our 3rd through 12, we've really got what I would consider a 3-to-1 initiative. Where we've got basically 3 students for every 1 device, which allows every student access to technology or a device or a computer throughout every period of every day as the teacher needs it, if they need it for a program, for a lesson plan or whatever. A clear vision for what we do is another point. Just a clear vision for. There's many great challenges in DeKalb County, but where great challenges are, there's great opportunities. And I've spoken to many folks around the state, and I think we can do some great things here. We can become a school system unlike others in terms of our practices, our instructional practices, our technology practices, and all these things. I think times are ripe for that. Then instructional leadership. My background is in instructional leadership. That's what my doctorate's in. I've been an instructional coach. And that's where the rubber meets the road. At the end of the day, that my successes will not be on how great I am. It'll be on how great we allow our teachers to be, how we empower them, how we provide them the resources, and how effective they are will ultimately be the success of this school system. Those are some 5 points. I've also put everything on my website, drjasonbarnett.com, drjasonbarnett.com, or on my Facebook. You can search it for Barnett for Superintendent. There's all kinds of videos and information out there. I'd love for you to check those things out. Email me. My email address is jason@drjasonbarnett.com. My cell phone number is 256-717-4012. As we went through this process, David, the biggest thing I've asked for and wanted is an audience. Is for people to get in front of people and talk to people and meet people, because I feel like that's how I can sell myself, and that's how I can earn your support and earn your votes, and we can together do great things for DeKalb County. So I ask, like I said, about 5 weeks from now on November the 8th, everybody, we're going to vote. And from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., the next superintendent of DeKalb County is going to be decided in that 12-hour time frame. And so I ask for your vote and I ask for your support, and I believe together we can work together to do some great things here in DeKalb County and put us on a trajectory much better than we've ever been before. I'm excited about that.
Well, and a lot of people like I are excited about that as well. You've heard the web address, you've heard the Facebook page, you've heard the phone numbers, and let's go over one more time the community meet and greets that you've got scheduled coming up, so that as we get close to the end of our segment today, you can be reminded one more time that you can come out and talk with Jason, Dr. Barnett. You can meet some people in your community we've got them scattered out across the county. You'll have an opportunity to talk to him, or you can go to the fair and run into him there. But let's talk about those dates one more time.
The first one is October the 6th at 6 o'clock in the Geraldine Pavilion on the park. The pavilion there at the park, we're going to have food, some entertainment, fellowship, all kinds of stuff. I'll speak just a little bit and then I'll answer any questions you have. And that's on a Thursday night. The next one would be October the 10th, and that's at the Adamsburg Volunteer Fire Department. It once again starts at 6 o'clock, and we'll have some food and fellowship and everything. I'll talk for a little bit as well, and like I said, answer any questions you have. And then on the 11th, we'll have in the Ider Senior Center at 6 o'clock. We'll have a meet and greet there as well. Check out, if you forget the dates, on my Facebook page, I've got events there. You can go in there and click that you're going or interested or whatever. But once again, I want to be very open, and I invite any questions. Love to see you there. Would absolutely love to see you there. Bring a friend or two, because at the end of the day, the people are going to be deciding, and your influence. You are an influence. Your vote has influence. You have influenced other votes, and I'd love to have your support.
And every vote is important.
Absolutely.
And did you hear the 4-letter word FOOD? He's going to have food at all 3
Absolutely.
places. That's 3 times you don't have to cook for your family. You can bring them, and Dr. Barnett will feed them.
We'll provide the food. Absolutely. Absolutely.
You just got to listen to him just a little bit. And of course, he'd love to have your vote.
Absolutely.
Well, we wish you so much
Thank
luck.
you.
And
Thank you.
yes, Jason's sitting at the back. And the reason I know he sits close to the back is because I sit on the same row.
That's right.
But thank you so much for joining us on Mountain Valley today, and we hope you'll join us again. Don't you know, as a reminder, that we're on Farmers Telephone TV, Channel 6. We're on WFPA 1400 in Fort Payne. And as always, you can go to MtnValleyNewspaper.com and see any of our episodes we've aired before. And we hope you'll tell a friend and hope you'll come back to see us again. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.